I don't appear to have chosen wisely when it comes to my bus. According to Google Maps, 101 was just going to go around Gurney Plaza in a loop and start heading back. But we're heading to the north of the island. We're heading to Penang National Park as far as I can tell. I'm still hoping that this bus is going to turn around at some point, but I'm getting farther and farther away from where I want to be rather than closer. I can't imagine where we're going, to be honest. Yeah, this is bus 101, but I had no idea when all... Oh, turning left. Oh no, we're just coming to a stop. Yeah, we're going around a tour of all of Penang Island, apparently. I was actually kind of joking about how this bus could be going to Penang National Park, but actually I just checked online. I got the actual bus route, the official route of this bus, and that's exactly where it's going. A place called, I think, Teluk Bahang, which is a little town just outside of the national park. And then that's where the line ends, and then it turns around and goes back to the jetty. And it's about 13 kilometers from here to the end of the line, and then another 16, 17 kilometers to go back again. But that's fine with me. I get to look out the window and see, because we should be following the road right along the coast, and I've never been up this way before. So I get to see what this part of Penang looks like. Seems like a pretty nice area. It hasn't been too open on this side, but when the buildings opened up a little bit, I could see the ocean and some islands and peninsular Malaysia off in that direction. And you can't see it right now, but off in this direction there are some nice hills. And we're still on our way to the national park. I assume I'll have to get off this bus and then pay another fare to go back into town on a different 101. There we are, opened up a little bit so you can see some of the ocean. It's about to disappear again. Oh. So there are some resorts and hotels along here that I've been spotting. I guess some beaches here where you can go swimming.
At this point, I ran into a little bit of a technical problem on my journey because I was using the Rode Wireless Go microphone to record this on my GoPro, and at this point, the battery in the Rode died. I'd been using this camera and this microphone all morning long while I was shopping at Gurney Plaza and doing a bunch of other things, and I didn't plan on going on such a long detour, but I got on this detour because I got on the wrong bus. Well, not on the wrong bus, I got on the right bus. I just didn't realize that the bus went all the way to Teluk Bahang before it turned around and went back to Georgetown. So this was a much longer day than I'd anticipated, and I wasn't keeping track of the battery on the road, and it died. So here I am, talking away, oblivious to the fact that no audio is being recorded at all. It was a nice ride, though, much more interesting than I expected, riding along the coast road, and I kept hoping to capture some video, like some really nice video of the scenery, but there some hills were coming up, and as soon as I turned the camera to look at the hills, that's when the bus stopped at a bus stop. And then every time we went by some open area where you could actually see the ocean and see some of the coastline, I would turn the GoPro in that direction, and then by the time I turned the GoPro around, that little opening where you saw the ocean would disappear again. So I didn't get very good video of this trip, but it was a beautiful ride up the coast road, and this road was winding and curving and turning like crazy, and it got very narrow. I thought about riding my bike up here, but the road was too narrow. It looked really dangerous on a bike. I met this American guy on the bus. He actually lived in a little town on the coast there called Batu Ferengi. And I was interested to learn that Batu Ferengi was once a very popular stopping off point for backpackers back in the day. when there were a lot more backpackers moving around Asia that way. Sort of back in the hippie days, Batu Ferengi was a very popular place. Anyway, he gave me all these instructions about how I stay on bus 101 until it goes around some kind of a loop and then goes somewhere and stops, and then I'm supposed to get off. But I was just tracking my progress on Google Maps, and when I reached that gas station that you can see behind me there in the video, that seemed to be the main bus station for bus 101. All the buses stop at that gas station on their way in, and then they gather there in a group. So when you want to go back to Georgetown, you just walk to that gas station and get on bus 101 there. I didn't have any kind of a plan for my visit to Teluk Bahang, of course, because I had no idea that I was going to go here on this day. But once I got off the bus, I just started walking down a road that, according to Google Maps, would eventually take me to the water. I just wanted to go down to the coast. And then my plan was just to walk along the road, following the water's edge as much as possible. And then that would take me to the entrance to the Penang National Park. And along the way, I was going to pass by something called the Cat Beach Sanctuary. And I was quite interested in that because I have an interest in animals in general, and it's always an interesting thing to drop by sort of animal rescue operations. And I guess this Cat Beach Sanctuary is a local, cat rescue place, and you can drop by there when you go to Teluk Bahang. And that was what I was intending to do. And here is the entrance to the Cat Beach Sanctuary. I didn't go in at this point. I think I just sort of walked in a little bit because I could smell the cats. There was a powerful, powerful smell of cat urine that you could smell from way out on the road. It was really kind of overwhelming, the smell that these cats had created at this sanctuary. And I don't understand how the place operates, but they have a lot of cats in cages inside the sanctuary itself, but then there are a lot of cats, as you can see here, that are out and roaming around free, and they put food and water out for them. So they seem to be part of the Cat Beach Sanctuary, all these cats here that came running out to greet me, but they're not actually being held, inside enclosures inside the sanctuary itself. They're just allowed to roam free. But you'll know when you're near the Cat Beach Sanctuary, because you'll suddenly see a whole bunch of cats, and you will smell the cat urine from far away. So there you can see a whole bunch of the cats, and they put food and water out for them there. And as you walk along the street, you'll see cats underneath all these vehicles. You'll just see cats everywhere. And there's no sign on that road in particular, but it's very hard to miss the Cat Beach Sanctuary. You'll know when you walk by it. And of course you can see it on Google Maps, so you can find it easily. And my idea to follow the road all the way to the entrance to the national park ended here, because there's supposed to be a bridge right there, and the road goes over the bridge, but the bridge was being rebuilt, so the old bridge had been torn down. And I think the bus even used to follow this road to go all the way to the Penang National Park. But because the road is out right there at the bridge, it wasn't possible for me to go any farther. But there seemed to be a very interesting place to check out. In this direction, there was a harbor here, a docking area for all kinds of fishing boats. So I wasn't able to continue along the coast at this point, but I decided to just go for a walk along the docks, walk around the harbor, check out all the fishing boats. I always find these areas quite interesting. At this point, I've reached the coast, as you can see, and I'm pointing towards the Cat Beach Sanctuary because it really is right on the water. The Cat Beach Sanctuary is right there. We're pretty much looking directly at it, and then from here we can look along the coast heading back towards Georgetown. That big hill on the horizon, that's on the mainland. That's not on Penang Island anymore. That's on the main Malaysian peninsula. And from here, I decided to keep walking along the dock, and there's more and more fishing boats along here. And as always, I was really surprised to see how many fishing boats there were. And whenever I go to these harbors, I noticed that so many of the boats seem to be trapped because they'll be, they'll pull up against the dock, and then another boat will park beside that boat, and then a third boat will park beside that boat, and then a fourth one and a fifth one. And I don't know how it works out, but the boat, that's right up against the dock they have boats double parked, triple parked, and quadruple parked beside them. So I don't know how these boats ever get out. They must have to communicate with their neighbors a lot in order to organize, who takes their boat out when. Because you go there to take your boat out and you're stuck because you've got so many boats beside you. There's no way that you can get out. You'd think that at some point during this time I would have checked the recording, checked the microphone, and noticed that the microphone wasn't working anymore and that I wasn't recording any audio. But I was completely clueless. And I just kept walking around and talking about everything I was seeing. No idea that nothing was being recorded. And when I go to these fishing harbors, I'm also so surprised to see how many boats are always docked. Because when do they go out is what I wonder. It's like all the boats that I saw here, I think when I turn around and I go back, I take a closer look at them. But there are hundreds of them, I think, and I wonder, if I come back at night, would all of those hundreds of boats be out fishing at night, or when do they go fishing? But every time I go to these fishing harbors, I see so many fishing boats, but they're always pulled up at the dock. I don't see any of them leaving. I don't see anybody on the boats, getting the nets repaired and that sort of thing. But at this point, I've reached the far end of this particular dock, and that's where I want to go, where I'm pointing. That is the entrance. Basically, those hills are inside the Penang National Park, and the entrance to the park is over there, and there are also some other docks that you can walk out on, and later on, I walk out onto those docks, and you'll be able to see some of that on video. And I think by then, I figured out that the microphone wasn't working, and I switched over to a lavalier mic. But here we are at the very end of the dock, and that is the entrance to the Penang National Park right over there. And from there, you can take boats, of course. You can hire a boat to take you into the park. Takes you to a place called Monkey Beach. I think that's the main place that everyone goes. And you can take a boat to Monkey Beach, go into the park, just on a day trip. You can also go hiking into the park. I saw foreigners there with backpacks, full camping gear, and then they were hiking into the national park and staying for a couple of nights and things like that. At this point, my idea was to walk along that beach and make my way to the park entrance, but the bridge was out, so there was no way to continue forward from where I was. I had to backtrack, and backtracking brought me right past the Cat Beach Sanctuary once again. So I decided to go in at this point. I was going to go in later after my visit to the park entrance, but since I was right there, I turned the corner and decided to go in. At this point, I had no idea what this place was about. I didn't really know if I was even at the right spot, to be honest. But as I said, the number of cats was a dead giveaway, and the overwhelming smell of cat urine made me wonder what the neighbors think of this place. I wonder whether they've had any battles with the neighbors, trying to get them to move on or something because the cats bother them. But there's the sign, as you see, the Cat Beach Sanctuary, so I was in the right spot. And again, I wasn't quite sure what the deal was with this place. I mean, could you just walk in and hang out? Did you have to register somewhere? I wasn't really sure, but it seemed like a pretty casual place. And I saw two other visitors down there, you know, a man and a woman, and they're feeding the cats, as we'll see in a second. And yeah, so I just walked in and just started hanging out with the cats. It was a lot of fun because you just didn't have to do anything. Like anywhere you went, the cats would come and find you, or they'd run off and find something they're more interested in. There's a gorgeous cat. In the office there, I guess they sell these little snacks. I've seen them a lot on YouTube, actually, on cat videos. I've never seen them in real life, but they're a little tube or something, and then you rip off the end, and then you squeeze the package, and this delicious stuff comes out that cats just can't resist. So these two people had bought some of those and were busy feeding the cats, so they were quite popular. And here are some of the cats. Like I said, some of them are in cages, and the cages have labels on them, you know, giving the history of the cats and their names and things like that. So I guess they are official residents of the Cat Beach Sanctuary, and they are up for adoption. And perhaps the ones that are roaming free are not actually up for adoption. I'm not really sure, as I said, how the place was organized. There wasn't anyone there that day that I could talk to find out all this stuff. It was interesting to see their location because, I mean, the place is called Cat Beach Sanctuary, and there it is. There's their beach. They are right on the water. And I thought I've had some experience in on islands in Southeast Asia, and with the tide going up and down, and with storms moving in, causing heavy waves and storm surges. I wondered what it's like to be right on this beach. I would be a little bit nervous that the whole place could be flooded quite easily, you know, being right on the water like that. But on that particular day, I wasn't thinking about that too much. I was just enjoying the company of all the cats. One issue with this place is that you only, if you're holding a camera as well, you only have one hand for the camera and then one hand to pet the cats. And it's hard to decide, you know, to spread out all your affection. Like, which cat do you pet? And you pet one cat and all the other ones come crowding up. You need 4 or 5 hands. This is another part of the cat sanctuary, just on the other side of the building, a bit farther away from the beach. And this fellow inside the cage was just dying for affection. I wanted to open the cage and scoop him up and run off with him and take him home. But I mean, that's the overwhelming feeling you have in a place like this. It can be a little bit emotionally draining to visit them, especially if you're a cat lover or a dog lover, because there's so many animals there, and they all look like they need a home. You know, they're just dying for affection. And when you sit down, like I'm doing here, over time, more and more cats come and find you, and all you want to do is scoop them all up and take them home. But of course, you can't. You can just say hello while you're there and hope that someone comes and gives them a good home. And there I am, me and all of my new friends. But I finally had to get up and leave, so I took them all off my lap and got up to go. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of them right there, and then the one in the cage right beside me. It was so hard to leave. Look at that. Like I said, if you're a cat lover, this is like, oh, 7. I think that might be the 7th cat. I'm not sure. Just too many to count. But But eventually I got up and left the cat beach sanctuary.
Oh, I'm down on that beach that I saw. Getting my feet in the ocean for the first time in a long time. Feels good to be in the sand, that's for sure. I haven't made it out to the pier yet. That's the pier over there. And this is the small beach that I saw from over there. But as I said, you can't get to this beach quickly anymore because the road is out. And when I got to this beach, I discovered that my Rode Wireless Go microphone, the battery died way back, like when I was on the bus or something. So this whole time that I've been in this town and visiting the cat sanctuary, I didn't have any audio. And it's another problem with the GoPro system, I find, that when you plug in an external microphone and something goes wrong with that microphone, like the battery dies or something, the GoPro doesn't automatically switch to its own built-in mics. It just captures silence, dead air. And the Insta360 One X2 is smarter than that, that if you use an external microphone with the Insta360, and the battery on your microphone dies, the Insta360 automatically switches to its own built-in mics, so you still get audio. So there you go. The details are important, I find, in everything in life, but very important when it comes to cameras. This is not a beach you would come to go swimming or anything like that. It's just a fishing beach. All the people. Hello. How are you? You can come down here and sit by the water, and people live in these houses here, and they pull their boats up to the beach, to the shore. But you can see there's all kinds of probably not netting, but anchor ropes and things like that for the boats out there. It's not a place you would come to go swimming, but it's kind of fun to walk along. Well, I say that, and look at that. They're going in swimming. This looks like it's one of the tourist boats, right? It's got all the seating there, so they could carry people out to the national park beaches. Yeah, I've switched over to a wired lavalier mic, which you can see here, instead of the Rode. Hello, how are you? Not bad. Nice boat. His own private boat made of styrofoam. So I guess right here, sort of the entrance to the national park. And right here, there's some information booths. I was just speaking with a woman here, Green Adventure Services. And they have like a free information service here. She has a nice book and a nice map of the area. It's okay. And she just walks you through all your options for the things you can do here. And she gave me a complete breakdown of all the various places you can go. Like here, for example, is Monkey Beach. But you can go right from, this is where we are now. And then you can hike along the shore around here. There's a canopy walkway, and you can also hike all the way across here to a tortoise sanctuary. Or from here, you can take a boat to Monkey Beach. And I guess there are cafes and restaurants, and you can buy water and things there. But if you head off in this direction, you're pretty much on your own. You have to bring your own water and kind of know what you're doing if you want to go on a long hike like that. And I guess from Monkey Beach, you can take a hike up to the lighthouse and back down again.
If you want, you can.
So, yeah, quite a few options for things you can do. Yeah, she was very helpful with giving the information. And they would reserve a boat for you as well. They can organize a boat, so I guess that's part of why they give all the free information. Very good business sense, because once you're done speaking with her, you have such a good feeling, and you have all this information, and you'll probably book your boat, through her. Today, no, I'm just here to look around, walk out on the pier. And if you're going in on the trail, because I guess you can hike from here, you have to register with them before you go in. And that's the National Park office there, so you have to register with them. As the woman was telling me, quite recently they had an Italian man go off on his own, and he took a wrong turn. I guess some of the trails are not as well cared for as they once were, because during COVID there were no visitors and the trails became somewhat overgrown. He lost his way, couldn't find his way out, and they had to send rangers in to go rescue him. Which is not an uncommon story. You hear stories like that all the time, particularly in Thailand when I was there. It seemed like hardly a week would go by without hearing about an elderly Westerner getting lost somewhere and needing to be rescued, and they find him 2 days later in the mountains somewhere. I'm just walking out on the jetty. There's all the large fishing boats out there. That's where I thought that was kind of the jetty or the pier that I was aiming for, was that one there with the big fishing boats. But this is a very scenic one. Look at that. It's very nice. Whoa! I was just looking at this one on the left, and that looks like a bit of a obstacle course. I was thinking that looks kind of dangerous, and then I noticed that, yeah, they realized that and they blocked it off. So you're not supposed to head out on that walkway, but this pier seems to be open. So I'm just gonna follow this out as far as it'll go. I suppose while I'm here, I should ask them how much all these things cost. You can go hiking for free, I think. There's no charge to go into the park, and if you just want to walk and go look at the tortoise sanctuary, then you can just go in on your own, register, and go for a hike. But of course, taking a boat there and back, you would have to pay for that, but I don't know how much it costs. I'll have to find out. I'm often surprised at the size of these engines. Like, look at that Yamaha there. I mean, that's a huge engine for driving that little propeller down there. Must deliver a lot of power. Oh, this is amazing. Just goes on and on and on. And then it will just end out here in the ocean. And the woman at the information counter, she did say that if you go to the beaches on the other side there, like where the tortoise sanctuary is located, you can't really go swimming there. From here, I guess I'm going to go into the National Park building in that office there and see what they have in there. They might have more information, more maps, and get a sense of how you register and whether there's an entrance fee to go into the park itself, anything like that. And that's the National Park building. I just saw one of the boats go out, one of the 10-seater boats. Just had 2 people in it. A couple rented the whole boat for themselves. Officially, Taman Negara Pulau Pinang, the Penang National Park. So I'm slowly getting a better and better idea of how this whole place works. Yeah, as I said, there's the National Park building there, and they have a QR code. So you just bring your phone, you scan the code, and then you enter all your details about who you are and then where you plan to go, and then you can begin hiking right here. This is the beginning of the hiking trail. You just walk through here and start walking and follow the signs. I'm not sure if you can get a map of the park to take with you. I didn't see anything like that, but it looks fairly straightforward. As long as you stick to the main trails, unlike the Italian fellow, you should be okay. I was just speaking with the woman at the counter there, very helpful, very friendly woman. And she was telling me that to hire a boat costs 120 ringgit, so you could hike in, for example, all the way across to the Tortoise Conservation Beach, and then there you could take a boat to take you around to Monkey Beach, and then from Monkey Beach the boat would take you back here again. And even for one person that would cost 120 ringgit. So that's basically the charge. Hello. That's the charge for the boat itself, and it's not like per person or anything like that. So. But now I am in search of a bus, bus 101. And I guess in the old days it would stop right here, but for whatever reason it doesn't do that anymore, and you have to come out here somewhere to get it. She said to the roundabout. And if I don't see it at the roundabout, I'll just keep walking all the way back to the gas station because I know it goes there. Heading back to Georgetown. All right, counting down to the end of today's small adventures. I think the day, as far as the video is concerned, will end as soon as I get on my bus. It's quite a long walk from National Park headquarters to here, where the buses leave from. It's kind of by the roundabout. It's further than you'd think. You'll be sweating by the time you get here. But there are a couple of buses waiting, so I don't think we'll be having to wait long. Put my mask on already just to get ready in advance in case I have to rush to get on the bus. And that's it, bus 101. Anyway, that's me and some other foreigners behind me there who just went into the park today, I'm sure, waiting for the bus. So yeah, highlight of today, well, me being a gearhead, the highlight has to be finding this 3-way 2.0 grip that I bought. I'm very pleased with that. It's already made a big difference for me. After that, I think the cat sanctuary, even though I have no audio for my entire visit there, that was quite interesting. Greeting all my feline friends there. And then getting an accidental bus ride out here and getting some information about the national park. So, that's it. Hot and sweaty on Planet Doug. Shutting down for the day. And if you enjoyed that little adventure of mine, small adventure, tune in for the next one. And I will see you in that next video.